Hello everyone. Thanks again for coming to the webinar, to Snowie's webinar number 32, which is on posting your location, which is a big deal right now, and I'll go over that a little bit in a pre-recorded video that I did with Jason that we'll kick off here in a little bit. I wanted to start off with a couple things today. One of those primarily is the way that you communicate to us, and I always go over this at the beginning in case anybody's new. So I'm going to actually hop over here and I'll show you the page and then also show you what we're doing with GoToMeeting. So, whoops, make this live here. So on our page here, and I apologize, many of you who may have seen this before, we have a comment section here. And if you would like to communicate to me this way, the easiest way is to go to this Open Discussion tab, click on Join the Discussion, and you actually make a comment here, and then you can come down here and put name, and if you would rather just post as a guest so you don't have to create an account, you can just do that. Put your name, put your email at email.com, whoops, and hit go. And so now that dropped in my comment and it put my name, and I can see your questions that way. Now another additional thing that I have done this time, because I miss the audio of these conversations when we use Snowie Live. So I brought in, or I'm using GoToMeeting, and I've actually set up a meeting just via the phone. So if you want to dial that number there, the 571-317-3122, and of course your access code after you get prompted is 675-157-941. I'll let you write that down just in case you want to join that while we're talking. So leave that up for just another little bit. And while I leave that up here, I'll go ahead and talk a little bit about this session. So this was a pre-recorded segment because Jason and I weren't able to get together. And we'll go over quite a few of those things. And really, I kind of have an intro that's built into that, so we won't talk any more about that. And I want to talk a little bit about our future webinars. From now on, I'm actually going to try and get two of us together. So whether it's me and Carl, or Gordon and I, and Lyle and I, or whoever, I think it's a lot more intriguing and a lot more interactive when there's actually two people that are addressing you guys. And I actually feel even more questions come in that case. So it doesn't just seem like a static kind of speech, which it was never intended to be. It's a lot more conversational. And in that same vein, we are creating a new segment that I want to call The Drive Home. And we actually get so many questions each and every day about the business, about the equipment, about the product, and all of these questions that we started keeping notes and on what we talked about that day. And so I'm actually going to do like a 15-minute segment on my drive home. It's roughly my commute, 15-20 minutes. And I am going to have a Skype call that will be recorded with another individual that works here, and maybe even business owners that are out there. We'll prearrange those. So it will be strictly audio. It will be a podcast, and we'll basically discuss the business while I'm driving home. And I like the idea a lot. It goes back to keeping it two people, and I think it'll be intriguing, and I'm excited to share that. So please look forward to that, or look for that, and we'll make a post about it once we make the podcast live, and then sign up for it. You can do it on your phone, your computer. You can make it to where the podcast will automatically download once a new one goes live. And I'm not sure how often we're going to do them. I'd actually like to make them as often as possible and keep them on topics that are fresh that day. So if we just went through and talked a whole bunch with customers about different things, we want to use those same topics while they're fresh on our minds and share them with you in a conversational form. So anyway, look forward to that. I'm kind of excited for that segment. I think it'll be neat. And okay, so hopefully you've got those written down for now. And I'm going to move on over here to Jason's segment, or Jason and I. And if you do have questions in the middle of this, remember, just go ahead and post those here, and I can actually pause the video and then I can come back to it so we can have this discussion and we can pause and talk about any of those elements at any time. So here we go. Hello everyone, and welcome to webinar number 32, which we're doing on snowy locations. I really wanted to do this on this one because more than ever, we have had requests from people in specific cities that are asking for your number, your location, and what kind of stands you have. And we have very few people who have signed up, and I believe that very few people are even aware that they could do this. So we wanted to get this out there, show you how it can benefit you, how it's done. And to do this and to properly show it, I've actually brought in our developer, Jason White, and he is going to go through this. Sorry, Jace, cut off your hello. Anyway, so we're going to go through it, and I just want to emphasize we have both phone calls. We now have a live chat feature that we stay on top of a lot on Snowie.com, and therefore we're able to really communicate with everybody who's coming on our site, the reasons that they are. And we get so many requests for your locations that and many of you we do our best to put it in that area, and if there's multiple in that area, it's not fair of us to be able to choose who is getting that call. So, and there are many of you in that scenario, so we basically have to tell people, look around your area and try to find them if they've marketed themselves in their local community. And if you're able to be found on Google and you're at your location, if you're in any other publications, if you're in community newspapers, things like that, then people are able to find you. And if you're not, then they can't. And this is really one great way. And people are coming here and they're looking, and then they don't find anybody in their area. And so I cannot emphasize this anymore at this time, how important this is for you, and how many people we have to turn away that aren't able to find shaved ice in their area. And we before I transition to that and to where we start talking to Jason, I wanted to add one more thought to that, and that is people are coming to Snowie.com to find you. One, because you're probably not found in other places if they did look at that, and two, even more importantly, they are looking for Snowie. They're not looking for another vendor. They're looking for Snowie shaved ice, and usually they're looking for a specific product, like a stand, like one of our kiosks or buildings, or a bus, and different things like that. So they're looking for that specific look, and they're contacting Snowie for it. And if they can't find it there, then sometimes they'll move on. A lot of times they actually contact us, and we do our best, as we've been discussing, to find you. But anyway, I just want to emphasize that they're specifically looking for Snowie, so it's not like it is beneficial for you to be in all those other places, absolutely. But it's also very beneficial for you to be on Snowie.com, because all of these people that are coming to us are going to Snowie and they're looking for Snowie. So, all right, let's continue. We can't help them with that, with the way that our business is structured. So, without further ado, I'll turn the time over to Jason, and we'll go through how this works and the benefits of it, and also how to actually go through the process of creating your location on the site. Jason, tear it up.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Aaron. So when Aaron first approached me that we need to really beef up our locations page, we wanted to make this as easy as possible for two different reasons, as he was mentioning, for people to find you guys. They want to invite you to their school or to their business or to their location or their event, but also we want to make it easy for the vendors as well to submit their locations as well. And so I'll show you a little bit about from the customer's perspective of how they find you guys on here, and also maybe show the perspective of a vendor on how they would submit their location and manage their location. Does that sound a good approach there, Aaron?
Absolutely.
Perfect. So when a visitor, let's start with the visitor. So if the person comes to this site, the whole purpose here is that they can find you guys. In fact, right on, let me pull up on this site here. I'll turn off my text over here so you're not getting my notifications the whole time here. There we go. So if I go to snowy.com, you'll see right up in the top right-hand side of the screen, we have this Find a Snowy. We try to make it really easy for people who are looking for you guys to find who you are, where you're at, your phone number, and get in touch with you guys. And so
Hey,
right away
Jason,
we have, yeah, yeah.
I'm going to cut you off here real quick. Will you go back to the homepage and show them that? It kind of skipped right past it on my end.
Oh, okay. You bet. You betcha. Let me pull that back up here. I'm logged into that site. So let me log out so you can see it, how you see it normally here. One sec here. Okay, so see right here, snowy.com. And you see up on the top right-hand side, it says Find a Snowy Vendor. This little ribbon right here is what we call this. And so we want to really emphasize that they can also come to community, and we also have inside here Find a Snowy Vendor. So we have it on the community link drop down, and we also have a Find a Snowy Vendor up top here on the right-hand side. So we want to make it really centric and focused to have them find you guys and get in touch with you. So as soon as they click here or they come to community, find a Snowy Vendor, then they'll come over here to our Snowy locations page, which is a dedicated site really focused on you and your location, your events, and where you're at. And so from their perspective, when they first come here, we have Search Your City, where you can find snowy shaved ice in your city. So they can right away search by keywords, a location. They can even click this little button right here, and it'll say, hey, can I find your location and find it for you? So we can do that right away. Or they can search by a category, saying I'm looking for someone who does arenas and stadiums or events or mobile locations or a stationary location. And they can find you by either one of these. Scrolling down, before we search those locations, we also highlight some specific areas, you know, snowy locations, events, mobile locations, arenas and stadiums down here. Here's some featured locations that are around there, and then you know, we have options to help, you know, vendors get in touch with us as well. So let's say that we are a visitor and we're trying to find a snowy location in our city, and so we can come in here and we can type in our city if we wanted to. Or I'm just going to click search locations and go directly and just see, I want to see everything that's out there nearby. So you can see right away, I see a map of the U.S. and I see kind of these bubbles that show how many are in this basic region over here. So we can see, go up here in the northern part of the U.S., we have 5. And if I click on that, it drills down to show, okay, I've got, looks like there's 2 in Utah, there's 2 in Montana, and looks like there's 1 up over here in, what is that, Washington looks like. Now, we know for a fact that there's way more than 2 in Utah. Would that be a fair assumption, Aaron?
Yeah, yeah. Even in all those other areas, I mean, literally there are thousands of you, and we
Yeah.
only have what, a total of about 17? Oh, 26. So
Yeah,
we've increased a bit.
we've increased for sure, but there, I mean, that's why Aaron was focusing this, saying, you know, there's so many out there, and this is how we're making a great platform for you to be found. And so, so you know, get on the map for sure. And we'll show that part here in just a minute. But from the user's perspective, they can say, okay, how many are in Utah here? And we can see one up here that's Ford Snow. We've got one down here in Tooele that's a snowy Shaw Shack, they call it. And so you can browse the locations very easily, and we can see that specific location just by clicking on one of them. Looks like this one's in Bountiful, Utah. And so we can see they've added a nice picture. We've got their map. We've got the person who owns it. They've got details of it. And then if you've been there, you can even write a review. Say, God, this was a great place, and give it a rating and say, this was a 5-star place, fantastic shaved ice, tasted delish, great flavors. You can even see their opening hours. We can also see different photos of their particular place, and so if you click on one, we can start to browse different photos. Look at this, we get a little gallery. So kind of a fun little place that they've added some different pictures of this specific place. Then we click back to Ford Snow. And so the vendor, if they're looking to get in touch with you, you can actually add your phone number and email address right here. This person's chosen not to do it, but we do have right here a little email link. If we click that, it says contact this person by emailing this email address. So bam, they can get in touch with them, or they can click this little info button right here. And this will show all the listings that this person actually owns, and you can say, okay, what else does this person own, and we can get in touch with it. There are different listings, find a different location of that specific user. So,
Now, one
it's a
thing,
great way.
Jason,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna interrupt here. So their gallery, they actually used images off of our website. So I just really want to encourage everybody to take your own photos and have it be exactly what you've got. Even a lot of these stands are older versions of our stand, and so have a good picture of the stand that you have and have it new and updated. And I will
Yeah.
clarify here now that in order to be able to take advantage of this location site, you do need to be marketing yourself as Snowy. So you have to have a Snowy stand, or you have to have an approved Snowy look if you did do something custom on your own. That needs to go through an approval process. If that has not been done, and you have not signed our marketing agreement as well, then you won't be able to be allowed to go live on the site. So you do need to be doing business as Snowy, and it needs to be branded as Snowy, and it needs to not be our images, preferably. They need to be images of your actual stand in your actual location, so that people will be able to recognize that, see that, and there's value there in adding those photos. So please do
Yeah.
that. Anyway, go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, I mean, the whole idea here is that people come here to see, oh, what does their location look like? Where are they at? And if we come into these photos, it's a really great photo gallery. People can see like we can see everything in here. We can even like comment just on this photo and say, hey, great photo, and there's some conversation and discussion that people can have. But yeah, I'm recognizing some of these as just regular Snowy images, and these are not of their location. So yeah, definitely try to get your own pictures up there instead of taking some of just the ones we have already on the site. So yeah, so I mean, I think as far as a user's perspective, it makes it a great way that they can browse, your locations, and they can even click browse categories up top here and say, I'm looking for people who do events. And you see we got 15 of those people in here. So now we're showing just people who do events. Looks like we even have one in Alaska up here now, which is great. So so it makes it really easy for people to find specific locations, and they can even just put in a general area. Like if I just said, I'm looking for something in Utah in the United States, and you see this uses a lot of different geolocation to try to find anything referencing that word at all. So if I just say I'm looking for anything in Utah, I can hit search locations, and it will find just results showing in Utah there. So depending on where, if they put in the address correctly and things like that, and maybe they haven't put in their address correctly on that one. But so make sure we put it in correctly. So let's maybe walk through that process of putting it in. So from a vendor's perspective, here's what you'll do to get on the map. The easiest way is just to click the submit location right here. So hit submit location, and you'll see we've got a purchase package option here. We made it free for you, so you see right up top here, we've got free to get on here for 5 listings. We have some paid plans because we know some of you have lots of different locations, and we want you to be able to put all of them on there. But once you kind of start to get more than 5 listings, it can kind of do a load on our server, and so just to kind of balance those costs of the server and things like that, we have some pricing plans for you to get on there. But just click the free option and then continue to say listing details. The next option over here, it says if you don't have an account, you can create one below, and a password will be automatically created for you. But the idea is that if you already have a location, then you don't need to create a new login. Just sign in, and you can actually create another location with the previous login that you have. But if you've never done this before, then just continue down here and just enter in your information. So let's just do John Doe at snowy.com. And now people ask title. What exactly is this title? And this is not your title, like Snowy Shaved Ice owner. This is the title of your location. And let's maybe open up a new tab and show an existing one, so you can kind of reference this information that we're putting in here. So let's pull up maybe let's Northern Snow. That's the Anchorage one. That's kind of fun. So this title, Northern Snow, is their title. And so when you put your title in here, this is what you are actually doing. So what do you want to call your location? Do you have it as a specific name that you call something different, or do you want to just do it generalized for a specific area? So some people might do like Salt Lake City Snowy Events, or if you want to do something specific like these guys did, like Northern Snow. So that is totally up to you how you'd like to do it. So we'll maybe do Midwest Snow for our fun example. And now location. Now we have location here as optional because we know that there are some some people that have mobile locations, and it's not always in one place like a stationary location. So what the nice thing that you can do is you can actually change this as often as you want to, and that's the great thing. So you could have one, so almost imagine this as your one stand, and you could change your location every week if you wanted to, so people know where you're at. And so we actually recommend that. So if people come to find you, you'll show up on the map in your new location. And so, but if you want to keep it general, for example, if you're always in the Salt Lake City area, or if you're always in the Denver area or something like that, then you can actually just be as general as that and just say Denver, Colorado, if you wanted to. But if you want to get specific to an actual address, you can do that as well and put in an entire address here. So that's totally up to you how you want to do it. So maybe with this one we'll do an example. Let's maybe see if we have any in Denver, so we can see our final option here once we're kind of finalized. I don't think we have any in Colorado right now, so that'll be our example. All right, Colorado people, it's up to you guys. So let's go Denver, Colorado here, and then this is the location region, and so this makes it so even if you decide not to put in a location, you can at least just set a region that we're mostly based in Texas or here or there, and you can decide kind of where you want to put it. So we're going to put Colorado for this one here. And then the contact email or URL. Now this one is the one that we were talking about that it shows up when they click this little email link right here. So see how there's an email address there, but it will show up in any other contact one. So see right here, they have a phone number, they've got a URL link, and some other things like that. So let's just put in here an email address. We'll just again do johndoe@snowie.com for our example. And then a location category, you can choose one of these. You got arenas and stadiums, events, and then you can even get specific to a specific type of events if you want to do. So if you're like, you know what, we really only do fairs, or we really only do markets or runs and cyclings, then you can get specific if you want to. If you find that you're doing multiple of these, then just click events and just keep it general if you wanted to. However, we do allow you to add more than one. So if you're like, actually, we do events, but we only do fairs and we do festivals. We don't really get into runs and cycling or fundraisers. We only do those two. So you can actually choose multiple categories and say, we are a mobile location, we do fundraisers, but we don't really do a whole lot of those. So you can actually get multiple categories if you wanted to for your specific stand that you're going to be putting in there. All right. The next one is the hours of operation, and if you only open for a certain time, then you can do that. But this is optional. If you don't want to do it, just hit the minus button and just don't even worry about it, move on. But if you do, it's very, very simple to just say, okay, Monday through Sunday, are we open or closed? Let's say we open at, let's come down to maybe 11 a.m. and we close at maybe 5 p.m. So you can see how simple that is to just kind of get that set up, and you can say we're closed on Sundays, etc. So you can do for the whole entire operation right there. For just our purposes, I'm just going to click some random ones in there. So when we see our final product, we'll see something in there. We're going to have really crazy hours. All right, now the next one is our cover image. Okay, and the cover image is, see this right here, this background image right here. Now this is again kind of relating what Aaron said, is that we recommend not choosing one of our images. For example, don't go to snowie.com, snag one of our pictures and throw it up there. We want you to get a picture of your location, what you guys look like. And so take a picture and upload it here. You've got as much as 8 megabytes that you can upload it to, and we'll try to crush that image size down so it shows up nice for the web. But that's what we definitely recommend, is grabbing your own image file and uploading it there. So I'm going to click Choose File, and I'm going to browse some pictures that I might have kind of nearby here. Let me go just into here to some, let's just grab one of these guys. Okay, so here's one here. We've got some little snow cone here, so I'm just going to click Choose on this guy. And then you see it's already uploading, and easy as that. So very, very simple to upload your cover image. And then your gallery images, this is again what Aaron was talking about, is please try to use your own here. So like these guys, it looks like they did, which is great. So if we click on their photos here, it's going to pull up their photo gallery, and it looks like they have their own photos of their stand. Looks like they've got a snowy bus. And so we click here, excuse me, let this load for just a second. And there they come. So looks like there's maybe our owner and their sons, or maybe some customers, and then they've got one over there. So you can click on any one of these and view it. So you can add really as many images as you want to your gallery. It makes it a really great option to be able to kind of share some of those things. So let me just grab a couple images here. I'm just going to grab, see that I'm grabbing 5 images there, and you can click choose, and they're all uploading simultaneously here. So it makes it very easy to add images to your gallery. Keep in mind, anything you do here right now, you can always update and change later. So if you're like, actually, I don't have any images right now, but I'll add them later, then you can definitely do that. So there they all are. If you ever want to decide not to have one of those, just click the X button next to it. But again, try to get your own images. All right, continuing on, our description. Now, where does this description show up? Well, if we go back to one of these examples here, you'll see there is a details section. And you can put here whatever you want. Some people put their schedule for the next upcoming week. We've seen some people give a basic description of their location. And then down here, we've seen some people come in here and say, okay, for the June 26th weekend, we're going to be in this location, you know, and then for June 27th, we're going to be in this location, and they can kind of specify almost their schedule if they wanted to right on their page. Might be a good thing on here to maybe specify you know, how they can get in touch with you, or your preferred method of contact. Really, whatever you want to relate to potential customers, right here is a good place to do it in your description. And you have some basic tools in here to do bold, italicize, bullets, numbered lists, or add a link if you wanted to. So feel free to take some time and do some good description inside there. Now, the website part, this is an optional thing. We know some people have their own website. Now, this could be an actual, like, Denver, Colorado Snow.com, an actual domain that you built your own website. This could also be just a Facebook page, like this person has done up here. They have a Facebook link right here, and if we were to click on that, then that sends us to their actual Facebook page. So you can put whatever you like in here, your Twitter page, even your Instagram link, whatever you'd like to put inside here. You have the option to put in whatever website you would like to share with your potential customers and visitors here. Phone number, which again is optional as well, but this is what shows up right here. Makes it really easy for the person to get in touch with you if they want to hire you for an event. So this is where we suggest to put it in. You can see this person put in 2 phone numbers separated by a comma. That's totally okay. So you can do that if you'd like to. But if you don't, then that email address that we had put in up here, right here, the contact email / URL is going to be what shows up right here on the email icon, and it shows their email right there. So we want them to be able to get in touch with you in some fashion. So email address will be the default one if you decide not to put in a phone number. So I'm just going to put in a fake one here just for our demo purposes. And then last here is we have a video. And there is an option to put in a video link into your location. So again, this is not to be a video that Snowie's already done on their Snowie YouTube page or something like that. Make a fun video for your thing. Just grab your phone and say, hello, here's our location here in example, Denver, Colorado, and we'd like to show you how delicious our shaved ice is, and just make a fun video, upload it to YouTube, and all you have to do is paste the YouTube URL here. So let's maybe just go to YouTube real quick, and in fact, let's go directly to Snowie's page and just grab one of their URLs just so you can see how this works. So I'm going to grab our killer Snowie locations video maybe. There we go, Snowie locations, perfect. So this is, by the way, on Snowie.com. This is maybe a good spot here too, Aaron. We have an actual video on here, how to submit your Snowie locations. So if this webinar today wasn't enough, then you can come here, and we've got a whole tutorial on how to submit this as well. But I'm going to take this URL though. I'm just going to come down here to the share, and you see right here we've got a share, and just grab this URL. I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to paste it here. But again, you'll want to do your own videos. So then once you've got everything filled out, we can click the preview button here. Okay, preview lets you see what it's going to look like. You know, am I feeling good about this? Is there anything I missed? So see, there's my awesome, image, so you can preview it before you say, submit my listing. So you can say, okay, that looks good, Midwest Snow, Denver, Colorado. You see all the categories that we're in. You see our location. We didn't put in a specific address, so it's just going to do a basic one of Denver, Colorado, and it will get the actual location once we submit this. So if it's over here, just kind of in a basic place for right now, don't worry about that. It will be there once we're there. We have our opening hours. You see our video shows up, and you see our details shows up. So it's all there, and then if everything looks good, just click Submit Listing. So let's go ahead and do that. And then we are officially in. So it says, all right, so we're done. We just need to check out. Let's make sure you get your name. So put in your information. We're going to do John Doe, and we're going to put in just a street address here. This is the fun part, right? And then let's just put any town. Please put your actual town when you do this. And then, okay. So then it's saying it's going to be $0 a month because you can do free for 5 listings, and then be sure to read the terms and conditions. Let's just make sure that, if there's any problems, then everyone's kind of protected. So be sure to read through that, and then just click you accept the terms and conditions, make sure all your information is good, and then just click sign up now. And so then that will make you officially on there, and the order is received, and you're set. So now, now you're logged in, you'll get an email sent to you that tells you that you've got a login, you've got a password, and now you'll see a brand new link up top here. Now that you're logged in, that's your dashboard. Let's go to the dashboard real quick here. The dashboard kind of shows, what we're doing, the Snowy Vendors package and our last order when we did it. So that has our basic information. But you see right here we have an edit listings option here in your account. And you can view all your different listings now from one here. Now I would just have one, but we could add a second one by clicking Submit Location again and add multiple. So if you have, again, multiple stands, then it'll be up there. Now you see right here it says Pending Approval. Okay, now we got to make sure that when somebody submits a location to our site that they are legit, they're real people, and like Aaron said, they've got to have certain protocols in place. Like they got to have the Snowy branding in there. Maybe Aaron, maybe you want to talk a little bit about what are some of the requirements for getting in here too.
Yeah, so I'll actually go over everything just as kind of a refresher for people that don't know. So when you do business with Snowy, and you use Snowy's name and you brand yourself under Snowy's name, we have one requirement. Well, I guess a few. One is that we require that you use our flavors. And that way we have a consistent product that's being sold among every Snowy, and which is obviously beneficial for everyone who is in the business. And we also require that you keep your stand in good repair and that you keep it looking like new. When somebody lets their building get old and worn down and tattered and torn, it reflects on everyone. And so we're controlling that a lot more. You need to keep your stand in good repair, and you also need to use our flavors to ensure that there's a wonderful product going out the window. Now, when you do that, you sign that marketing agreement with us, and there is that obligation to us on that sense, but there's also a lot of things that you get from us. So we actually have a folder that you guys have access to once you sign that, and it gets you access to our logos, to our forms, to different things that we use in the business day in and day out. Lyle has a whole bunch of things that he uses for business management. We've made all of that stuff available. All of our school marketing things, like the Snowy Smart Snacks and also flyers that you can take to do Snowy days at school, or like a snow day. It's a play on words for snow day, like you get out of school, and so we did a program called Snowy Days, or Snowy Day. Sorry, I keep stumbling over that. But so we have all these things that you can do in your area and help you in your local marketing. So you get a bunch of benefit from that too, and one of those benefits of marketing yourself as Snowy is this, that if you want somebody to be able to find you, and we've always envisioned this being much bigger, and again with some other things, when we went to our new website, we had to change quite a few things, and we used to make it to where people could just basically showed a listing, but it didn't show them on a map. It was hard to find. it just wasn't working. And so we had to take all those contacts and basically shove that aside and start fresh. And so now we're basically showing you guys how to do this, how to get on, and 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 again, just to emphasize the importance of it, I have never received so many phone calls and so many chats on people that are saying, "Hey, I'm in such and such area. Can you send somebody to do a party here?" And then I end up spending some time to see how many people we have in that area. And if there's only one, then I'll usually make the effort to be like, "Hey, so and so is trying to do this. Are you interested?" But if there's multiple of you, there's no way. I mean, even flipping a coin or drawing from a hat, it's just hard for us to do because it could be perceived as unfair to the others that didn't get that referral. So the best way to do it is to get all of you on here, and then the person who is going through it, they can choose who they would like to do it. Now again, so you're marketing yourself as Snowy. So if you have a Snowy ice shaver, but your brand on your stand is um, sorry, I keep having legitimate names come through my head that other people are calling them, and so I don't want to use those names. But like Bob's Snow, and it says Bob's Snow all over the building. We're not putting you up here on this. This is strictly for people who brand themselves as Snowy. So anyway, I think that's, did I clarify good enough
Yeah,
there,
yeah,
Jay?
totally. Because like it says here, pending approval, and then it's usually you that's approving these, right, Aaron?
That's correct. That's me. And I literally have people that I get people that submit that have nothing Snowy. They're not even using a Snowy shaver. They're a complete other business. It's amazing what comes through on this. So I really have to look at those and I have to research those. And I may even be calling you and saying, "Hey, can you send me a picture of you and your stand so that I know that you're legitimate?" And I've done that before as well.
Yeah.
Which makes that process easier, by the way. If you put up your own pictures and I see that you have that stand and I can tell that it's unique to you, then it's a much easier approval process. But if I don't have that and you have one of our pictures on your site, then I have to either know who you are or I have to call you and have a conversation and get another image from you to prove that you are doing business as Snowy. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yep. So would you say probably within, at the most a week, probably, right? That you could probably get it approved.
Yeah, at most a week.
Months.
We had some where I wasn't being notified, so we had some in the past where they were coming through, and I didn't know that they were there. I believe that issue has been resolved. So now I know that you're there. I know that you have submitted your location, and we can get you up much much quicker.
Awesome. So the nice thing is while you're pending approval, you can still edit your stand though. If you decide to come back and say, actually, I just took some more pictures or I just did a new video, you can click edit. So just go to your dashboard over here and click edit listings, and then you can see your location and that it's still pending approval, and then just click edit right here. And you can go back and you can update all that same information that we were just editing before and say, you know what, I want to add some more pictures, or I want to add a different YouTube video, or I want to change my phone number, or I didn't put in my website that's through Facebook or something like that, So you can come in here and edit any of that stuff while it's still being, ready to be approved. See, I just hit save and now it's done. And you can view it at any time too, just to kind of see how it looks. So while you're in the process of doing that, feel free to go back here and view it too. Let's see, where was that at? Yeah, we can go to edit listing and then you can click it from there. It's probably the better way to do it. So feel free to do any of those things. The other things in here, maybe just to kind of walk through, is update settings. So you notice that up here it says John Doe, and on your listing it's going to show just your username. So to make it a more readable name, you might want to update your name to be a little more readable. So you can put in here John Doe, and then you can update your password if you want to. You can put in a biography. You can even have social profiles if you want to, for you specifically, if you want to share some of those things. So you got some of the settings that you can change. And then if you are getting more than 5 listings, then you can update your billing information at any time. So you can say update for all my active subscriptions, and then you're set to go. So you can come in here and you can update anything from the dashboard. We even have some options under here. This is submit a new listing. We've got a frequently asked questions section. So if you want to create a new one, just click submit location, and then it already knows that you already have the package Snowy Vendor, so it says you have one listing out of 5, so you're ready to go. Now it says in here it's listed for 365 days for a year, and we do this so that we always have the most current updated information. So we want you to come back in a year and make sure that you're still there. So after a year, your location is going to expire and it will be taken off the site, and we want you to come in here and renew it, just to make sure that we always have fresh and current locations. And so if people aren't selling anymore, we don't want them on the site. So make sure you keep on top of it and keep your items updated and fresh on there. So it makes it really easy for you to come in here and add multiple listings if you need to.
Will they be notified of that, Jason? Are they aware when that occurs?
Yes, an email should get sent out to you guys letting you know that your location is about to expire. Please update your location, and then you can just log in and make sure you update it and make sure it's still up and running from your package. So, yep.
And whenever I do things like this too, I actually put a reminder in my own calendar, just so all of a sudden it comes up. It's 365 days later. It's a year from now. And I get something in my calendar that says, hey, check your locations on snowy.com. I do that kind of stuff all the time. So I would encourage people to do that. So just in case you miss that email that comes from the system, or if it somehow doesn't come out, you still are aware, hey, I need to go in and change that stuff. So put a little reminder for yourself a year from now. Definitely.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually pause my screen for a second. I'm going to go in and I'm going to approve this listing so they can see the final product. Does that sound all right?
Yep.
So I'm going to pause that. You shouldn't be able to see my screen now, if that's correct. And
yeah, we're just still seeing the static screen before.
Okay, so I'm gonna log into our secret special admin portal here now. Can you still see my screen?
We're still seeing submit location.
Okay, good. Okay, so let me just do this real quick, and then I'm going to approve this location. So, because we've been verified that this place is legit and it is official, so I'm going to go and approve this. Give me just one moment here. There it is, and approved. Okay, perfect. So now let me show my screen again. And I'm going to just go to the main search locations section here, and we should see one now over in this neck of the woods. Let's just zoom in a little bit. And waha, we've got one right there in Denver, Midwest Snow, that we just created. And look, it's showing up right at the top here too. There's a new one. And so we can come here, and there's my image that I had uploaded. I've got John Doe, Denver, Colorado. There's my phone number, the Facebook listing, those photos I added, the video I added, my crazy opening hours, and my details. So you see everything looks just as it should with the proper map in here as well. And so makes it a really great thing, and we're hoping that people will come here after they visited this place or use them and submit a review. They can click this and just say, these guys were great. And this is a great way to learn, that hey, we had a really long wait, and so if you're getting some reviews that people are kind of giving you some feedback, you might say, what, maybe it's time to invest in a flavor station or something like that to help with lines or whatever it may be. So it's a really great way for customers to be able to give you feedback as well, and makes it a great way. So
it's also a great way. I mean, you can also do promos where you're like, hey, you could get half off your next shaved ice, or get a free shaved ice if you go and give us a good review on snowy.com. And remember, you can do all these things on Yelp. Snowy's one location, but remember, there's other things that are worldwide that we encourage you to do as well. Get a presence on Yelp and have people review you there and reward them for doing so. That's always a good deal.
And each location is going to have, by the way, a unique URL. So you see right here, we got snowy.com/locations, and then your location is this Denver Midwest Snow in this particular example. And so feel free to use this URL for any of your marketing locations. We've had some people too that use some of the URL shorteners, and just shorten that URL and share that link as well. So you can do some of those things too to use this page as your marketing web page to say, hey, visit us on our website, and they just use this page as their website. So
And you can, I mean, even if you kept it long, or even when it's shortened, it's kind of it's not easy for people to remember. It's a bunch of characters, and it's not easily memorized. So what you can do is actually keep that data on your phone, and like you use programs like Evernote or even just in your notes section, and you can copy that, and then as customers come up, you can text the customer, say, hey, would you mind if I sent you a text, and it will give you a location where you can leave a review right now. You text it to them, they click on it, it's very mobile friendly, and they can go out, give you a review right there, and they could even get a free shaved ice right then for doing so. So anyway, create some activity on that, and people will find you, and people will come to your location, and they'll invite you to come and do their locations. I mean, every contact that we have isn't necessarily, I mean, we get some where they're like, man, I'm craving one. I want to go find one in the area. But the majority of it is business, where they're like, hey, I have a company. We want to invite Snowy to do a corporate party. Is there anyone in the area? Or we have a birthday party, or we have this and that. So usually most of that contact is business. It's not just, or larger business. It's not just a single one-off person looking for a single shaved ice.
yeah. And some people even have like an iPad, that they could use at their location, say, submit a review right here. You just hand them an iPad and say, hey, if you like to submit a review, and it's already on your page, is another option too.
Love it.
We do have, another option too is you can come down here and click how to submit your location if you want to kind of get another detailed view. We actually have a dedicated page right here on Snowy Locations where we have a video showing this. We show, like, first create your account, submit your listing, get more interest in your place. So so there's some options there as well. But I think that pretty much covers it there. Is there anything else that we didn't go through, Aaron, that you wanted to focus on here?
No, I think this is great. This is exactly what I wanted
Awesome.
to show.
And it works really well for mobile devices too. As you see, I've kind of just shrunk my browser screen here, and you can see, don't mind my messy desktop, you can see what it looks like on a mobile platform. That it makes it really simple that if they even just click search locations on a mobile device, then it makes it really easy for them to see the results and even just view the map as well in just a really nice mobile version of the site. So so it works great on your mobile device as well, so take advantage. But yeah.
Perfect. Jason, thank you very much. And
Yeah,
thank
you
you
betcha.
everyone.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you everyone for watching. This is actually going to be a pre-recorded segment where I did it with Jason before due to scheduling restrictions. But I am going to open it up to questions right now. If anybody has some questions or some thoughts on how this is done and some of the requirements for doing so. So we'll move to that now. Thank you.
All right. Very sorry. So yeah, now we're opening it up to questions. Remember, I also have an audio segment open. Let's go there really quick. And I actually have a video to close this one off with of the 4th of July that we did last year. It's just put to music, but it shows a lot of the setup and stuff like that that we'll play here at the end of questions if you want to hang out for that. Let me move this over. And let's go to here. So again, that's the dial code. If you didn't get it already, you can hurry and hop over there if you wanted to have an audible discussion. I'm going to take the mute button off of my phone. But it doesn't look like anybody has gone over there at this time. I'll go ahead and check this section. So if I knew this. And so far, I don't see any questions. So again, please submit your location. This is hugely important, and we get more requests than we ever have before, and that's why I ended up bumping this one up into a webinar. We've actually put out some other videos, but I don't know how aware everybody was of it, and so I wanted to make sure that we created a discussion about it. and that you guys take action, because this is important to do. I'll go ahead and do a video while you guys, in case anybody has any questions they want to think of, and it doesn't have to be about this content. If you have questions about Snowie in general, about the business, the flavors, the equipment, I say that twice, the stands and the equipment, the flavors, the shavers, all of it, any questions you have at the end of any of our segments, they're wide open. You can ask anything you want. They don't have to be necessarily relevant to the content discussed previously. So I'm going to go ahead and show you this video. I'm actually going to put it out on the web on its own as well, but let's go ahead and put this here and then come back for questions for another second. Do you think I would learn? Okay, so we actually have a few questions. Is the Little Snowie 2 commercial? I'll go through each of these. And I don't think we have anyone on the audio ones, so I'll take these out for now. And put that speaker just so I can hear that. But I'll go through these questions one at a time. So is the Little Snowie 2 commercial? No, it is not. It is a home use machine. We used to actually post on the shaver that it is, you only do 30 at a time, like in a row consecutively. And we actually took that off. You can do a bit more than that, but if you're using it for business purposes, you will kill that shaver. It's just not intended for that. And we have a handful of people that try to run a business from it every year, and they burn them up. I mean, they're just not meant for that heavy of use. If you're doing a shaved ice business, you can pay that shaver off so fast. Just get the shaver that's meant for it, and you'll be far, far happier. Could I ask a couple of topic questions about the building? The answer is yes. Lamar, I think you actually continued on to ask anyway about the AC. I'll bump up there to that. Robert also asked, I have some events that said the have ice cream truck, so they will not let me do the events. How do you compete with ice cream trucks? Wow, that one, I've never heard that before. Shaved ice and ice cream trucks are two totally different products. And really, when I get those events, when they come to me, I guess I approach it with a little bit of passion. I'm like, man, we are totally different than ice cream. And one of the biggest variables with ice cream is that ice cream is not a product to quench thirst on a hot day. It is literally a I mean, if you watch when people eat ice cream, they wait until the sun goes down. It's a cool night treat. It is not a hot day treat. And so for all the events that you're doing, when shaved ice really thrives, and that is during the day, when it's hot, I mean, it really quenches your thirst far more than soda, far more than anything else. I mean, water obviously is a thirst quencher, but if somebody wants a treat and they want that flavor with it, you can't beat shaved ice to quench thirst. And so I would share that with them. I would also say I can serve a customer about every 3 seconds. That to me is I use that all the time to be able to get into events. Like I sit there and watch ice cream. To give you a scenario on ice cream, I would do shaved ice at a ballpark, and I would have people come up to me, and I know that I've shared this before, but people would come up to me constantly and say, man, you guys in ice cream had all the lines, like all the people were in your 2 lines. And I would be like, yeah. But really inside my mind, I was thinking, I know exactly who's leaving with more money. Because I would go over and I would time them. It took them sometimes between 2 to 3 minutes to make an ice cream cone, to scoop it out and to make it and to get it to the customer and sell it. And they were lined up. And this is again when the sun started going down, because during the day I was slammed and there was nobody in that line. And as the sun would go down, that would transition, and their line would go up. And I mean, our lines actually would stay, but they would level out a bit to where there's that even temperature where people will go to both. But to me, those 2 products are night and day, and I would just point that out. I would be like, we are nothing like ice cream, and you got to check us out. You got to see what we can do. And and you can add other things. We do natural flavors. We do cream topping. We can put ice cream in it. I mean, say, hey, you want me to drop ice cream in the middle of this shaved ice? Done. And we have webinars on how to do that and keep the health department happy as well. So I would just point out that you're nothing like an ice cream truck. Lamar asked, I'm going to pick up a used building tomorrow. It's an older model with an AC unit mounted above the door instead of on the roof. If the unit doesn't work, or the unit doesn't work, and I was wondering what I could do to replace it with. For those of you who don't know, our buildings back in the day used to have like a window mount AC that was mounted above the door. We got rid of that, and we now put an RV style AC that really cools that building down. They work far better than those door mounted ones. Unfortunately, I will ask Gordon, and you might want to get with me, but really the structure of the building, of the roof when we did that, wasn't meant to hold that. If you look at our new buildings, they're actually stepped. They're very sturdy, and they're made to hold a lot of weight now. Where back in the day we didn't mount anything on them, and so your roof is probably very flat. If we cut a hole in that and put it on it, it would sag and it would leave gaps and things like that. So I don't know that we would be able to replace that for you. We could send a new roof and you could put that on. Those dimensions should be identical. And if you wanted to put on a sturdy roof and an AC, that absolutely is a possibility. The other is you could just replace that AC on the back of the door. If you wanted to get a beefier one, you could kind of bump that up a bit. So anyway, there's some thoughts there. I think that brings us to the end of our questions here. Just let me refresh this. Oh, he's got more. Hey, second question, what size tires are on the 8-foot building? What lug pattern? I'll actually show you an image of that. Let me hop to your third. Third question, does the 8-foot building have a VIN number? If the state requires trailers to be registered tagged, how can that happen? We actually give you a certificate of authenticity. I'm not sure that's it. It's maybe it is it. I can't remember the terminology, but we'll actually send you a paper that will actually allow you to register that, and they are all serial numbered, so they're fine with that. As long as they have a model that differentiates that one from another, then we do that, and they are all tagged, so you can do that for sure. Now let me bring this up first before I show my screen here. And I had somebody ask me this question, so I just took this image. So if I transition over to here, maybe bump this up, you can actually see. So it comes standard with an 18-inch wheel. I should have done this on a pretty wheel, but I didn't. This is obviously a worn out one that we use to move the buildings around the shop, but it's 18 inches to the outside, 8 3/4 on the rim, and you have 4.5 inches between the lug nuts, and you also can see that your pattern is 5. It's funny, I don't think I've ever been asked that question before, and I've been asked that question now probably 10 times this season. So things come in patterns. Let's see here. And maybe that sparked some more. Let me refresh it one more time, see where we stand. Yeah, it's not a bill of sale, but going back to that document, they actually asked for something specific. God, I wish I could remember that. But basically it states that it came from us as a manufacturer. We certify that it's authentic, that you didn't make it on your own, and claiming that it's coming from a company, and that the serial number for that actually came from us. And it actually is notarized and everything. So all of that has to be done for that thing to be able to be treated like that. Now, in many of your areas, just so you know, a lot of people think that they have to register it as a trailer. I don't know how many people really have to do that. I would say probably half don't, and but I know that quite a few do. Like here in Utah, we don't even put trailer. Well, at nighttime, obviously, we put trailer lights on them. But if we're moving them around to day events, I don't put lights on them, and we don't have any license plates on them. We don't have to register them as a trailer at all. So consider that, and pay attention to that. Obviously, if you go to ask, they're going to be like, "Oh yeah, you need to do it," and maybe that's something that I can put out on the forums to see how you can find that out without actually opening that bag. So I'll approach that. How much is the 10-foot building? It's right there actually on the site, and maybe this will help because I have a lot of people ask me about pricing. Sorry, let me hop over here again. I have a lot of people ask me about pricing. So if I go two buildings, whoops, and now I just clicked on the podcast. Let's go this way. So each building here, so if you go into 10-foot building, you can scroll down, see some financing options, Paramount, Release Station. It gives you a good estimate on what you'll probably pay a month with those guys, and there is your price right there. So it is $29,690. Now another question that often comes with a 10-foot building, well, I'll stay on the page here, is that if we look at it, let's bring up one of these images that we can really see the outside. Our other building, the 12 by 5, people will ask, well, why is the 10 by 7 more than the 12 by 5? Well, if you times that out, 12 by 5 is 60, 10 by 7 is 70. So you actually have more square footage, and it actually requires quite a bit more material to be able to do the 10 by 7 than it does the 12 by 5. Now the 12 by 5, we made that originally, and we're selling less and less of those because when you go to events, if you're taking it to an event, if you're in a parking lot, then it's a totally different story. But if you go and travel to events, they give you a 10 by 10 space. It's very standard. And if you go over that, they usually make you purchase 2 spaces. And so with that thing being 12 feet long, a lot of people ended up having to get 2 spaces in order to be able to fit it. And so really that was the core purpose of creating the 10 by 7. And really it ended up, I mean, this has become one of our most popular buildings by far. You could put 4 people in there. It fits within a 10 by 10 space. It's very spacious inside. If you ever want to see these, by all means, you're more than welcome to come to Snowie. Every time somebody comes here, they're like, wow, the images just don't do it justice. You have to see the bus and the stands. See all of this stuff in person. It's totally different in person than it is on these images and even in video. But that's the reason why that's more expensive. That clarifies that a little bit. Should I refresh on its own here a little bit? And then Wes has it. Okay, let's see. All right, the original owner state certificate has her name on it. Do you know how to get it transferred if I need to? I'm in Virginia. I want to make money off of everything. Let me see what I can find out about it. If you actually have their name, email me, aaron@snowie.com. That's AARON @snowie.com. I'll actually put that up here so you can see it. And it's actually right there too. But so go ahead and email me there with their name, and I'll see what I can do to grab that from them. If not, I have to talk to Estella to see how that transition would make. I better check with her before I start answering that. All right, let's see here. So Robert is asking, do you have a sales sheet you can email to a potential event? Are you referring to like what you've done at, like, to show potential sales of what you've done at previous events, or what we've done? I guess clarify with me on that, exactly what you mean by that. Is there a Snowy Naturals building? How much is an 8-foot kiosk? So again, you can go to the kiosk page, the same as we did with this. You can go to products, go to kiosks, and you'll actually see that we have a natural kiosk right here, and we can do the building the same. I could actually, if you want, oh, he just left with it. We actually brightened up our naturals. Hang on a minute. Let me see if I got some images I can show you real quick. But if you look at this kiosk, it's very muted, and we actually kept kind of a mute, but we actually brought in some snowflakes and we brightened up the colors a little bit more, but we still wanted to keep it that natural look. That shows a little more angle on it. But we do this in a building. We actually just did a 10x7 building that is gorgeous, and I'm not sure that I have images of it, but I'll check it. So while I hop around here, let me go back. Go back to my face, I guess. Sorry about that. Give me 1 second. So here is actually sorry. Sorry, I mean for this to take this long. So this is actually a kiosk. This is actually a new version of the kiosk. It's a little hard to see how much brighter. Let me go back to that. And you can see this page. So all these images are going to be very much the same. Unfortunately, Derek's standing right in front of the base where we brightened up a lot of the colors. But you can see up top, in this lower section of the top, how much brighter they were. That the top here was actually kind of our original look. And so this whole thing, this punch of pink, you could make that a green, like here. Anyway, there's quite a bit more. It actually stands out quite a bit now, so it's pretty slick. I'll look for those 10x7s of that building and get that out to you. That was a really cool building. second. This is the kiosk again, collapsed. Now that kind of shows the back a little bit, how much brighter that section is. If you've seen the building before, if you've seen the kiosk before, you can see how much brighter. Anyway, I feel like I'm wasting your time here now. Let me go back here real quick and check your questions. Let's see here. No, trying to get events, but you can only contact them by email. So wanting to send them something talking about Snowie. Oh, sorry. Yeah, yeah. We actually have a pitch book. If you're in the middle of a purchase and you sign our marketing agreement, I'm looking in the wrong area. Sorry. And if you sign that marketing agreement, you have to be in the middle of a purchase really to kind of get it. But we also have a pitch book that you can actually take to them. You can email them. And it's really slick too. It shows you what you could do with it. We actually have a page that we're developing now that's called snowie.com/pitch, and it's being built right now, so a lot more images are coming. So you can actually pick what stand you have. You could go to them and you could talk about it, show other equipment if they're interested in you doing other things. But if you're in the middle of the kiosk, actually, sorry, maybe I've got some mixed up. So it looks like you may have gotten it. Are you getting it from us? I'm not sure. Sorry, but if somebody else is completing it, but I made that confusing. Anyway, we do have a pitch book that you can take. You can send it as a PDF, and we also have that page that's being developed. So we have quite a few things. A lot of people even take our catalog, and we'll take that as well. So if you want a physical catalog that you can take around to show them, you could do that as well. So, sorry, I misunderstood your question earlier. And then you just ended up there saying, I can't wait to get my kiosk. Hope you will be finished with it next week. So we are building it. Sorry if I would just finish reading it. Okay, and I think the fonts are missing in the Dropbox. Okay, shoot me an email of what image you need. Oh, you're talking for the pitch book. Let me look at that and get on that. But yeah, so if you've already seen that, I'll get that in there so that anybody that's using Illustrator would be able to get on and manipulate that. Send a new Snowie book in the email. Can you send me a new Snowie book in the mail? We haven't actually printed them out. The point was to do that, but since you're missing a font, let me go ahead and do that. Shoot me an email on that too. And we'll make sure that we do it. Sorry, I have to refresh this every time to see. Okay, so it looks like we hit the end of those. If anybody else has any other questions, shoot. And I'll be happy to answer them. Refresh it here a couple times. And but yeah, Robert, shoot me an email and let's take care of the few things that you've got there. And just in case the audio, yeah, nobody ever did go over to GoToMeeting. Hopefully that was working for you. I hope nobody's there because it wasn't working. We've certainly had our share of glitches. And last time I couldn't even stream, so it's been very strong this time, so that's a good thing. And I'll check one more time and then we'll draw this to a close. Oh, the postcards, missing fonts on postcards. Okay, we'll take care of it. Thank you, everyone, for attending. Sure appreciate having you here, and as much as you can, thank you very much, actually, for asking questions. I love questions. I feel like it guides the discussion far more, and really, like I mentioned before, it, I, it can be about any topic. Obviously, I'll try not to take it too off course in case there's people that don't want to hear about any of those other things. So maybe we'll juggle it a little bit and keep the ones that are core to the content of it, and then open it later like we did here. But thank you for asking questions. I love that, and it clarifies a lot of things for a lot of other people. And look forward to the things that we're doing. So we have a webinar that's actually coming up. That video that I showed you is actually about expanding your business. And really, there's kind of that's the point of this business, is it's not like another business where you can kind of gradually grow. It is really geared to, you put out a stand, you do this much money, and it's made to duplicate that. And obviously, if you don't have a location that's as good as your first, it might not duplicate it, but usually you can find as good or better. So, and then you have the experience to be able to approach them, you have the equipment, you could even take that pre-existing building and take that to help pitch if you want to find a location before you purchase. Those things are all real beneficial. But really, this business was meant to grow, and so our next one's actually going to be on expanding your business. It's really the whole core point of doing this, and how you can expand and how you approach it. And so anyway, so that'll most likely be our topic next week. If you have other topics that you would like to hear about, please email those to me. We want to create the content for you, what you guys are looking for. Sometimes I think that we look too much what we think you want, and we would rather give you what you want. So I think we'll draw this to a close, and let's see. Robert says, like a tour of Lyle's warehouse for a webinar. We'll talk to Lyle about it. See if he's up for it. And okay, thank you, everyone, and we will see you in about 2 weeks, and also look for that for the podcast that will be starting here soon, called The Drive Home. Thanks.